Good day, good day. How are you doing? I'm Canyouth White, and you're listening to Canyouth's Exploration, your topic in a podcast. We have a wonderful show lineup for you today. I'll be talking to an HR practitioner out of St. Lucia. But let me take time out to just say, hail, bless up, greet our friends who are listening outside of the United States. Data showing that we have listeners in the United Kingdom, Jamaica, naturally, Brazil, Switzerland, Canada, France, Germany, Spain, even Ukraine, Ireland, Guyana, to name a few. If you're listening on your favorite podcast platform, it's Canyouth Exploration, your topic in a podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, be it live or otherwise, it's Canyouth's Exploration, your topic in a podcast. Data is also showing that 67% of our listeners are females. And as it relates to the age group, interestingly, 23 to 27 and 45 to 59 and 60 and over. So there is this gap. There's this gap as it relates to the age, right? I'm asking that you help fill this gap. Introduce your friends and relatives to the show, right? They can use their favorite podcast platforms, Spotify, Apple, Amazon, and they can watch it on YouTube or YouTube channel, Canyouth Media. Let's get in that 18 to 22 age group and that 28 to 44 age group. And naturally, more men into the whole thing so that they can learn and be entertained, be informed from Canyouth's Exploration. I am Canyouth White. According to Mark Kelsey and Company Executive Briefing, in an article dated April 7, 2021, entitled COVID-19 Implications for Business, many companies plan to combine remote work with time in office to get the best mix of productivity and collaboration. Think about that. They have surveyed 5,000 employees to find out what they were saying about the remote work system. I mean, many organizations had started that since the advent of COVID, the COVID-19 pandemic. And we are forecasting that will remain with us after the pandemic. That's a forecast. The findings. Findings are that, one, communication breakdown. Companies are not talking to their employees about their plans after the COVID-19 pandemic. What should they expect after the COVID-19 pandemic? Many companies are not talking, according to the findings. Anxiety at work because of that unclear communication channel, because of that sort of discrepancy in communication. It was found that workers are becoming anxious. They're having challenges, emotional challenges, because they're not sure what to expect post-COVID. Interestingly, it was also found that employees want flexibility. Many employees, according to the survey, the results, want that sort of flexibility. They want their employers to keep them at home and sometimes in the office. So they have learned now that there's some sort of a benefit for that flexibility. Talent at risk. In fact, one of the findings are that the employers note that organization return fully to on the job side. Many employees will now leave the company because they want that flexibility. They have learned, so therefore, hey, I still want to be at home sometime. I kind of love this home thing. So employers are now seeing that it's highly likely that they will lose many of their employees because of this need for flexibility post-COVID. That's an interesting finding, right? And tying up to that, they're rather the stay-at-home approach to working, right? I mean, this is all about best practice. In religion, they talk about your life will never be the same again. Your life will never be the same again. And in the secular world, right, as we go through this COVID-19 pandemic, that's one of the things that we can say normalcy will not be the same, right? So therefore, pre-COVID, we'll not see that again. Post-COVID will be far different from pre-COVID and naturally from the COVID setting. We will be seeing something new, something different. So your life, my life, will never be the same after COVID, right? I mean, they were looking at how businesses can be prepared for the next normal. But today on our show, I've been looking at a number of things, right? We're talking to a very interesting guest from St. Lucia. She's out of St. Lucia. That's in the Caribbean, right? And you realize that she will give you the Caribbean perspective as well and the global perspective. Juliana Samuel will be our guest, and we'll be having a number of persons, perhaps 2 or 3, I guess, in studio, right? Who will be asking questions. As soon as Juliana finish answering one question, they will be asking follow-up question based on the answer that was given by our guest. So I'll be looking at organization, past, present, and future. We'll be looking at organizational leadership, past, present, and future. And we cannot leave out the whole thing about human resource practices, what it was before COVID, what it is now, and what it is forecast to be post-COVID. We'll be looking at the new HR effect. Or will the new HR, the new practices in human resource department in companies affect you potential prospective employees and current employees? You will be getting advice. Organizational leaders, you'll be getting advice. Employees, you will be getting advice. And we will finish up with Miss Samuel, company Samuel Consultancy Services. We'll be looking at that in our Biz Exposed Today segment. So let us welcome our guest to the studio, Miss Juliana Samuel. Welcome, Miss Samuel. How are you doing? Not hearing you, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
All right, pull that.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on your program as your guest. Thank you for reaching out to me. I am Juliana Samuel, as you introduced. I'm from the most beautiful island in the Caribbean, that is St. Lucia. I have been employed in various industries in various positions. I have 33 years professional experience, 20 in management and 10 in human resources.
Oh, great. So you're from, what did you say you're from the Caribbean?
The most beautiful island in the Caribbean.
All right, I support you. I really do support you. You know, I'm from Jamaica, even though I live in the United States. But we are Caribbean, and I think you have a beautiful country, right?
Thank you.
That's nice. All right. Okay, we are going to be looking at a number of things, Miss Samuel. It's not Samuels, it's Samuel.
Samuel, yes, no S.
Samuel. Okay.
No S.
Yeah. Samuel. Okay, no problem. Right, we're going to be looking at a number of things, and I'm going to ask you to look at these things from the perspective of the Caribbean, yes, but the wider world, right? Because you know it's a pandemic, and what we'll be talking about will be suited for the wider world as we look at the pandemic as it is now and what you forecast for the future. But tell me, Ms. Samuels, how about the organization? What organization looked like before the pandemic? And what is it looking like now? And what do you forecast organization to look like?
Most organizations had a functional structure. So what was happening is that they were basically finding ways to improve on what they were doing reducing costs and keeping the staff motivated. However, organization and management now have to be very innovative. Things cannot be done the way it was done before. The way we interact with our guests, the way we treat our employees, train our employees, everything has changed basically.
Right. So things has changed, right? And the pandemic basically caused that sort of change to happen. But my thing is that organization, it comes on suddenly an organization. We have realized that, right? In organization, do they have the drive at that time, March the 20th, March 13th, right, 2020, when the World Health Organization declared the COVID-19 pandemic. What do you think happened at that point, at that week, that month, when organization heard that? What type of jump do you think they have?
Unfortunately, a lot of organizations were not prepared for that. The management team were not ready for that. So there was this sudden closure, and a lot of companies and organizations that have not been able to come back. They have those that have shut down. Those that have had a stronger management team, stronger guidance, have been able to try to survive one way or another, try to break even and to survive. But it is very difficult because you have to find new ways of meeting customers' needs. You have to find new ways of pleasing the staff. The staff themselves, they're going through difficulties. It is a very depressed time, and leaders need to be there for the staff. But some of them have not come to decide of they have not found the solution of how to go about doing that, how that could be done. That require that thinking out of the box. You cannot think life cannot be normal. You have to think out of the box. So you have to find ways and solution means the things that would work. What works for my company might not work for yours, but you have to be innovative. You have to think outside of the box and try to basically right now what we're trying to do is try to stay alive, trying to stay afloat.
Yeah. Yeah. So basically, if when you look at organization, I want you to cast your eyes to the future of organization. When you think about organizations, say next year, next 2 years, what are you seeing as the structure of organizational system? What in your mind, in your headspace, what are you seeing?
I see organizations trying to, it's like a one day at a time kind of situation because we do not show what's happening with the virus. So basically, there'll be less personal interaction. Now, we in the Caribbean, we are loving, hugging, touching kind of
Yeah.
people. So we did a lot of that at work. We'd hug each other, and we know that well enough. We meet our friends, we hug. This interaction is going to stop. That's going to stop, and that may affect that in some ways going to affect the employee psychologically because sometimes employees need that support. They get it from work. They don't really have anybody else to turn to at home, sorry. So at work is where they get this kind of comfort, and then that's not available. So that's one thing organizations need to look into. There'll be less tolerance for poor performance, absenteeism, attitude, because the replacement is just a phone call away. There are so many people looking for a job.
Yeah.
So the labor market is going to be saturated one way or another. And working hours is going to be less. Because, for example, if you look at some institution now, they operate on a shift basis. For example, a bank may have 14 staff. I'm talking about my country. I'm not sure what happened elsewhere. What happened? They operate on a shift system so that in the event that one person is sick, the whole team do not get sick. So your working hours will be less. You might work 2 days a week, 3 days a week. So these are the kind of things employees have to expect. And these are the kind of things, these are the kind of strategies leaders have to put in place. Right now, we have to think of in any decision we make, COVID has to be the number one priority. COVID has to be incorporated. So we have to try to think outside of the box and see how we can make things happen for the employees, for the organization to stay alive. The organization needs to stay alive. And also we need to concentrate on our customers, and we have to find a way to reach customers, employees. We have to find a balance. And it requires, the engine cannot run as normal. It requires you thinking outside of the box.
Right. I like how you say that the organization, in order to stay alive, because in effect, organizations are legal in persons, right?
Yeah.
We need to somehow look at organizations like that. You're listening to Canyouth's Exploration, your topic in the podcast. I'm Canyouth White, and I'm sitting in with Juliana Samuel from St. Lucia. She had somewhat missed a number of things in her introduction because she's more than you are seeing, right? And I like her to clear up some of that. You can if you're watching live, naturally you can text your questions in the comment section and we will acknowledge. Miss Samuel, you have left out some things about who you are. I have not heard about your years in senior management and operations. Tell us a little more about you.
Okay. Before COVID, I have been, as I indicated, I've been employed in various industries. So I have been held positions like director of operations. That was in the medical school. However, my last job was director of human resources with a hotel here in St. Lucia, where we had about 547 staff. However, due to COVID, a lot of changes took place and my position was made redundant. Thereafter, many persons encouraged me, I must say, persons sowed the seed of, why do you want to work for other people when you have all what it takes? Maybe you should go on your own. I have been working on that. However, things have been very slow. It's difficult to get business right now. Things are just about picking up. So I had slowed down for a while. However, I'm revamping and reintroducing myself to the market.
Okay. All right. We're going to look more at your company later on. I'd just like to introduce one of our studio audience to the platform. Let Dervin in. Are you in, Dervin? How are you doing?
Good afternoon, Mr. White.
I'd like you to introduce yourself. You're one of our studio audience who will ask the guest a few questions after she finish answering the question that I asked. You will ask her maybe one question you're allowed to ask. But introduce yourself. Who is Dervin?
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Dervin Cochrane. I am a special educator by profession and a law grad. And that's just basically it for me.
Okay. Yeah. And then your Dervin is coming to us out of Jamaica. She is in Kingston, Jamaica, right, Dervin?
Yes, I am.
Right. Okay. You have heard what Miss Samuel had said about organization. Did you came in when she was saying something about organization? Did you? Have you heard?
Well, I came in a little late due to connectivity problems.
Okay.
So unfortunately, I didn't hear everything. But the last thing that I heard was that the change in face of employment in terms of managers have to have.
All right, we seem to be still having technical issues with Dervin. When he comes
employed
back,
and those, like the 2 days a week kind of scenario thing.
Okay. We are having a bit of a challenge here with. Okay, you're back, Miss Samuel.
Yes, sorry about that.
That's all right. It's technology. we do understand, right? So Dervin, what would you like to ask Miss Samuel as it relates to that? Do you have a question for her?
No, not right now.
All right, that's fine.
Not right now.
That's fine. Okay, Miss Samuel, let's look at organizational leaders, the leadership in organization? Because yes, organization, the system, the structure has changed and it's forecast to be changed further. You heard I told you about the survey that was done as it relates to how the system might be changed, right? And tell me, what organizational leadership looks like before COVID? What is it looking like now? How do you think that the behaviors of leaders will change? You have touched a bit on that, but how do you think the behavior of leaders will change post-COVID?
Okay. Organizations before COVID was basically trying to meet your budget, trying to operate within the standards, trying to keep your guests happy. Post-COVID, it has been innovative. You have to do the same things, but you have to find other means of doing it. So, for example, you have to find other ways of keeping your guests happy. The handshake, the firm handshake, we know that is not possible anymore. So you have to now become creative in how you assist your customers, how you meet your customers' needs, how you satisfy your customers' needs. You also have to keep your employees motivated. You have to find ways of doing that. You have to make time more than ever now. We need to make time to listen. We need to listen. Our employees need us to hear them. Our customers need us to hear them. So as it relates to the employee, they cannot come and sit in your office anymore, but maybe you take their calls or you set a time to return their calls, you respond to their messages, you respond to their emails more frequently. Before we would do that, maybe I know persons who do that when they get the chance, but right now that should be part of your duties. When you do your task list for the day, that's one of the things you need to put in there because the employees need you as a leader right now. They need you in many ways.
Right. Darwin, anything on that? Hello? All right, seems to be having a technical challenge with it, Darwin.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead, Darwin.
I understand.
Okay.
Can I make one thing else?
Go ahead.
Something else, yeah. Something I forgot to mention, and which I heard you said in the introduction.
Right.
We will be making, or leaders will be making decisions that employees and customers will not agree with because maybe they have not understood. We need to take the time, we need to be empathetic and take the time to communicate to our employees, to our customers. It is very important now that we build trust with our customers, our clients, and trust with our employees. And the only way of doing that is with communication. If you open with them, they understand and they will go with you. But if you keep information away from them, they'll think that you are hiding. Now you need to be honest because there's nothing to hide. I mean, most of us would understand that companies are just trying to survive right now. They're just trying to survive. Why you want to hide that from the employees? If they understand that, then they're with us. We are a team. We need to be a team now.
Right. But do you think, though, may I say Juliana? It's okay?
Mm-hmm. Yes, it is.
Right. Juliana, do you think that they will hide, organizational leaders will hide certain information because they're afraid of losing the best of the best in the organization?
If you're open with the facts about your organization, the best of the best will stay. Right now, from what I'm seeing, companies are doing things they should not be doing that is going to cause them to lose the good employees. If I'm your employee and I know for this month you could have only made sales of $100 and you can only pay me $20, I understand now. But if you come and pay me $20 and I don't understand that it's only $100 you made, how am I going to act? Think of the two scenarios. It's easier to accept when you know the facts. It's more difficult when you don't know the facts. When you don't know the facts, you draw your own conclusion, and that brings a lot of chaos.
Yeah, I understand that. Durbin, are you prepared? You ready? Okay. There's nothing from Durbin right now. So let us look at HR practices now. That is a critical aspect of organization. I like to think the human resource department in any organization is the key to the organization. You support me, I guess.
I'm happy you said that. However, there are a lot of organizations and businesses who do not see it this way. They will see the accounts department and the IT department. However, the human resource is the most important thing in any organization. And the sooner companies understand that, the quicker they'll realize that they can reduce on their costs, they can maximize profitability. But until they accept that, they're going to suffer loss. People don't see, some leaders don't see turnover as a cost, as it having a cost on them. It's like Tom leave, Tom leave. But you have to take time to train Harry to do that same job, and you're wasting time. Time is important. Time is important. So there are a lot of little things. You need people come and they do things. They don't have a policy, a procedure of how to do things, or maybe a job description. They do things, they waste time. That is company time you're paying them for. Yet still it's not being productive. So people don't see the little things. They don't see human resources as being important, but it's very, 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 very important.
Right.
Employees, you can have lawsuits just because you do not have the proper policy in place, or the employee did not know. You could have had it and the employee did not know, and the employee is going to use that against you. So I do agree with you 100%. Human resources is very important. However, not everybody understands that.
Right. And as you say that, let us look at the human resource practices before COVID. What they look like before COVID?
Before COVID, it was basically ensuring that employees work to expectation, and adhering to the company and the state policies. So you come to work on time, you leave on time, you dress well, etc. These were the basic things. And also keeping within the budget. It was, as I said earlier, it was an engine that was already running. So you try to find little ways to make it better. You might try to improve in certain areas to reduce your costs, to make your employees more efficient. One of the things that happened a lot before COVID was getting employees skill. Many organizations concentrated a lot on training, improving employee skills, because when the skills are improved, then you expect your customers to get better service. So a lot of focus was done on that, getting things perfect, getting the employees perfect, getting the policies perfect. It was just trying to keep your staff motivated, exceeding the budget expectations, and trying to improve things. Basically, that's what it was for human resources.
Okay. So what is it now? What are we seeing now in HR practice?
In some instances, I can say chaos, because some managers or some leaders have not really understood of what the changes that needs to happen now. So here's what human resource is supposed to be right now. We need to find alternative ways of interviewing people. It cannot be face-to-face anymore. One. Two, human resource need to become paperless. You cannot accept offer letter, a hard copy of an offer letter, a police record. You do not know how many people have touched these things. That should be avoided right now. So it should be electronic. So human resource should become paperless right now as much as possible. You need to update your standard operating procedures, your handbooks, your contracts to reflect COVID and COVID protocols and what you expect from employees. As I tell you, things has changed. The way you would do things, the way a customer would be served, that has changed. We need to update our policies to reflect that. COVID is there and it's there to stay. We do not know how long it's going to stay. You need to be, yes, we cannot have the staff events, the birthdays, the staff appreciation, but we need to find creative ways to keep the staff motivated. So we need to identify virtual events for our employees to keep them engaged, because that's the most maybe they can do right now. As you know, in most countries, they still have curfews. There's not anything much they can do. So we need to find virtual events that keep our employees motivated. We need to show appreciation differently. So if it's a WhatsApp group you form, and at the end of the day you tell Tom, job well done, etc., but you need to acknowledge and you need to show appreciation. That is very important right now. Right now, as I said earlier, it's very depressing times. Everything around you is depressing. People dying, family dying, people sick, people don't have money. So all these are there. You have to make yourself available to the staff. The staff need to be able to reach you. They cannot come to the office, but they need to be able to reach you. So find a convenient way of making that happen. Maybe companies need to introduce counseling. They need to get a counselor to listen, a professional to help these employees. These employees had serious issues before COVID, before we ever knew of COVID. Right now, it is worse. We have to promote training and use virtual training platforms to keep our staff engaged, keep their skills fresh, updated. I know as human resource leaders or even as leaders, you'll find that this is a lot that's been added onto your plate. However, you need to be in it together with your employees, because at the end, if your employees fail, they fail you. And without the employees, you should not even be existing. So we have to be more understanding. We have to be more accommodating in order to make it happen and keep both our customers and our staff happy. If the employees are not happy, the customers will not be happy.
Definitely. And looking at that, Juliana, next year after, because I have seen where interviews are now purely online, Zoom, telephone, electronic altogether, right? Is it that we're going to be seeing a lot of that? Is it that HR practitioners, HR department will become lazy, right? Because they're seeing it more easy, a sort of easier route in getting the recruitment done, the selection done via this practice?
It's not easier. Sorry, it's more difficult. When you meet someone, you see somebody face to face, you're able to gather more information. A Zoom call, the person is away from you, and there are a lot of things you might be missing. HR leadership is not becoming easier, it's becoming more difficult. A Zoom call, you might have to have more than one Zoom calls, because maybe the first one you are not sure. Maybe you'll have to find something else to substantiate, validate that interview. Maybe you'd have to do more reference. It is more work. Basically, it is more work. It's not less work, it's more work. Okay. It might be easier for the applicant. Prevent the applicant from traveling some distance, finding their way. But for the recruiter, for the company, it is more work, because you have to ensure that what you're doing is right. So you have to dot all I's and cross all T's.
Yeah. And that is critical. Go ahead, Dervin.
Yes, concerning as it relates to the employment practices, Madam Samuels. So we can see that there would be a change in light of this. So there would be further agitation by the labor unions to agitate for laws that would be more friendly to the employees in this dispensation caused by COVID.
Yes, you would. I mean, the unions, they're just lying low now, because things are basically have not well, the economy is just building back up. We have to expect the union and the labor department to be more involved. Their responsibility and their rights is more towards the employee. However, I find that these institutions are not difficult to deal with. It's just a matter of communication. So they may tell you that you have to give this, but you prove them again, it's honesty. They understand why you cannot do it. They normally agree with you. They will not force you to do what you are not able to do. So it's a matter of communication with all stakeholders, all parties involved.
But also, wouldn't we expect some amount of job disruption? Because since due to the advancement of technology and COVID has really accelerated the pace of technology now, the heavy use of technology in order to carry out one's employment duties. So wouldn't we expect there will be further job disruptions in terms of persons losing their jobs? And remember, and if some of those entities have delegates of labor unions there, wouldn't there be further intense conflict between the labor unions and our employers in the foreseeable future?
Employees losing their job due to technology, I don't see that being a major problem in all sectors. Yes, it would happen in some sectors. Yes, the union would be there, but I'm talking from the point of view of what I see has been happening in St. Lucia. A lot of institutions, companies, they have shut down for a while. And according to the labor law, these employees should have been paid and made redundant. So basically, they have lose their jobs. It will be up to the company to hire them back. Also, you'll find the union would have to find ways to come back in, because that team of 20 they had in that resort don't exist anymore, because these people are not there anymore. So everything is going to be new. The union themselves is going to have to start fresh, new. They'll come with the new policies, guidelines, so the new members are going to join. Because right now, most institutions, and I'm talking to St. Lucia, for example, the hotels, most of them were unionized, but because most employees were sent home, the union don't really have a grounds right now. So yes, they would come with the new policies, they would come back. They would eventually come back maybe later this year into next year, they're letting the economy pick up. But yes, they would always be there to protect the employees. But as I said, is your negotiation with them, is being transparent with them. There will be, if you do what's right, I'm the kind of person who always believe in doing what is right. So if you do what is right, you will not find yourself there will not be much conflict between you and the union and the labor department. The union operates under the labor departments. And if you are an HR individual who follows the labor laws, then the contention or the battle between you will be very minimal, because already you have been trying to do what is right. And I honestly believe in doing what is right. I was an employee, I could be an employee again. What I want, I would treat others the way I want to be treated. And I believe in that strongly.
Yeah.
But there will be managers and leaders who do not think this way. And yes, there will be contention. Yes, because not everybody feels the same. But then they're making it more difficult for themselves when they behave in this way.
All right, very good question, Dervin. You're listening to Canyouth Exploration. I'm Canyouth White, and we're sitting in with Juliana Samuel from St. Lucia. She is a HR practitioner. Dervin is a part of our studio audience, and he will be asking our guests some questions from time to time to get the perspective for the present and the future employees. You know, you had said something, Ms. Samuel, about the union and the cap. They're being limited now in what they can do or should do ethically, because we are in a pandemic, and it's not a matter of beating down on organizations and their leaders at this point. Is it that employees now, right, and maybe for the next 2 years, cannot depend on the union, because the union is being capped, being muzzled now because of the pandemic and the effect of the pandemic?
It is an employee's right. As I said, employers' leaders are not always fair. The union is the employee's voice. So it is the employee's right, it's the employee's decision if they feel they need the protection and guidance of the union. Because the union would guide them as what is right and what is wrong. So it would depend on them. It's on an individual basis. Yeah. Remember, you have to pay the union a due.
Right.
their dues. So all these, you have to take all this into consideration when making your decision, but that's entirely up to the employee.
That's interesting though. But look, the next question I have for you, Samuel, is that HR, that effect, we talk about HR past, present, and future already, but that effect that HR will have on the next generation of employees, right? Those who will be graduating this year and moving into the workforce, right? And those who are there now in the workforce, right? I would know the workforce is not only those, correct me if I'm wrong, those who are employed now, but those who are employable are a part of the workforce, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. The employable. Once you're employable, you're able to, you're right. So what type of effect? What type of effect that HR will have on them? This new HR effect that they will be bearing.
There will not be the new employees. I pause because our new employees, the newer generation, the younger generation, they are technology people.
Yeah.
So the way things will be done will not affect them much because most things, sorry, will be via technology. Training, orientation, everything will be via technology, and that will not be a challenge for them. It is for the older generation to get more comfortable with technology. I believe that you need to give an honest day's work for the pay you are getting. Remember, you sign a contract and you say $2 you'll be paid for an hour. That's what you say you're willing to accept. You need to give an honest day's work for that because a company like you is just trying to survive. You need to find ways, employees need to find ways to do what relax them because there's a lot of stress in the organization. There's a lot of demands because, as I said, some employees, some managers may not know better, some leaders may not know better. There's a lot of stress. Employees need to find a way to relax, to de-stress themselves. So if it is going for a swim, going for a walk, listening to music, you cannot let the situation get to you. You need to find a way to neutralize yourself. Employees need to understand that your replacement is just a phone call away.
Yeah.
So at all time, you perform to the best of your ability.
That psychological space that you talk about, right? Yeah, do something, relax, right? Because at this point, employees are working from home. However, I realize that they're still being supervised. You log in at a certain time, we need you to be there. This is your lunch time. This is when you leave work, right? That is still on, right? In most cases, perhaps not all, right? So that psychological space might be a challenge. But I am thinking, Juliana, that because the workplace is now in the home, there's more stress. That child calling out on you, mommy, and so on, and you have to do this, you have to do that. The milkman is outside, the postman, so it's more stress. But yet still, a lot of employees want to see that happen after COVID. What do you say?
I beg to differ with you on a lot of
Okay, that's all right.
employees.
That's all right.
I have had conversations with many persons who say they do not like working from home because they work more than when they're in the office. When they're in the office, you get to work at 8 o'clock, you work, you go for lunch, you come back. When you're home, you cannot do that. You cannot leave at 5 o'clock. You go way into the night because your boss feel that has to be done and just saying to you. I get the message that bosses are less considerate because you're working from home. So at home, when you're in the office, you go. That's in some situations.
Yeah.
But in the office, you go, you do your work, and you go home. They might call you for something, but then when you're operating for home, there's no. The boss, I've gotten complaints where bosses calling early in the morning, late at night. It's like they have not drawn the line, and a lot of persons don't seem to like that.
I had an episode last
May I ask
week.
a question?
Go ahead, Irvin. Go ahead.
Okay, I was just on the point that you stated Mr. Canyouth, concerning the stress, workplace stress. Ms. Samuel, would you foresee that there would be a heightened level, not only stress, but a heightened level of mental or psychological challenges that would arise, especially during this dispensation and after COVID, due to the fact that we are human beings, we are social creatures. We like to be around in groups, right? Be around with our co-workers, face-to-face interaction, not on the computer screen as we are currently in front of right now. And I'm seeing that there are some studies coming.
We lose you a bit, Irvin. Okay, while we wait on Miss Samuel, right? That episode that I had, it was said that teachers now have to be versed on this technology thing. Many of them weren't, but because of this homeschooling thing, they have to get with it now. So we are thinking that even the outside of the school, the organization in general, you talk about those those older workers, they have to get with it.
They have to get with it, but it's going to be difficult, and leaders have to try to figure it out. For example, training. Yes, the younger generation will adapt quickly to the virtual training methods. However, I've had situations where I have to work one-on-one with individuals to make them understand whatever I was trying to bring across. So, for example, if you look at a groundsman who might be less fortunate, never had the opportunity,
Right.
he needs to understand what is right, and that requires one-on-one. So it is your workforce, it is the people you deal with, it is knowing your employees, and you have to find ways to reach them. And that is very important. You cannot make employees feel left out, or the others do it, can do it, and I cannot do it. Already the environment is stressful, and that is happening. It's going to complicate it more. Right now it is very depressing. I would agree that with the vein, sorry, it is very depressing. And we as employers, we have as leaders need to find ways to reach out and be there for our employees. It is not a one size fit all. We have to understand and find ways, find the best practice that will reach our employees. So again, and it depends on the organization. What works for one organization might not work for the rest. There are these employees, sometimes they are the only breadwinner home right now. Their partner not working. There's the bills to be paid. Maybe the house rent is in arrears. There's so much happening. Maybe there's a sick person home, or maybe they lose somebody because of COVID. I mean, I've been out of work, and if you allow the situations to happen, it can get you depressed, can get you in a depressing mood. So yes, and this is why I recommended earlier that maybe employers would need to get a counselor. Maybe that's one of the somebody they need to add to their team, a counselor, or send the team, somebody from the team, the human resource, to get trained in that area. There are a lot of problems we have to deal with in the workforce. It is not life as normal. You cannot just go in and take it like you were starting off from where you left last year, March 13th. You cannot do that. It's a whole new ball game right now. And managers and leaders need to understand that. They need to understand that and work from there. They work from what's happening now, the new COVID, the new way of life, everything is new, everything is different, and it was just shoved at us, and not everybody can adapt to it, and that's the problem.
And I'd like to, as you say that, I'd like to just move into the preparation for post COVID-19 employment. We talk about the internet, the technological preparation. That's one of the things. But what are the other aspects of preparation that potential employees need and current employees need going back into the workplace or a blended system wherever they go?
They need to understand COVID. Some persons take COVID for granted. And if you understand, and maybe that's one of the things, again, employers would have to do, training on, if you understand how COVID is spread, then you'll protect yourself differently. You do things differently. So, for example, you see people wearing masks and it's covering just their mouths. But it's because they have not understood. So employers have to ensure that employees understand COVID, how it is spread. And as employees, sometimes we do not have to wait on the employers. We need to understand how it is spread, what we should do, what's expected from us. We need to know that our work hours will not be the same. Employers are not able to offer us a 40 hours a week kind of job. We have to understand that what the employers were able to do before COVID in terms of incentives and these things, this will not be possible. You cannot go back and expect the employers to be doing everything the way they used to. They are honestly not able to do that right now. So we have to go, employees should put themselves, think as an employer, think like you have your business and put yourself in the employer's shoe to really understand what is happening. But again, for that to happen, the employers need to be open and build a trusting relationship with the employees.
Preparation for post-COVID, and it relates to employees, potential employees and current employees, right? There's something that we don't want to leave out in this discussion. This thing about vaccine passport. It has been tooted around the place, even in the United States. As it relates to travel, you might need 2 passports, your vaccine passports and your, traditional passport. But but what do you think, though? Do you think organizations will take on to this vaccine passport? Hey, you're coming back to work, you need to be vaccinated. You need to show that passport, right? You want to be employed with my company, you need to have that vaccine passport. Do you think that will take on across the globe?
Yes, I think it will. It is to the employer's advantage. However, the employees have rights. So it's a balance of the two. Again, some employers might say you have to be vaccinated for you to come back, for you to enter my workplace. So if that's a company's policy, then you as an employee, we have to respect the company's policy. Just like you as an employee have your rights, the employer has their rights also. So if that's their policy, you need to adhere to it. But I would say yes to the vaccine. But as I say, people have their views, their opinions, their religious beliefs, and I don't wish to step on that.
Yeah. Interestingly though, employees, they have rights, as you have said, and the union would have been involved in that enforcement of the employees' right. But there's also this thing about utilitarianism, protecting the massive then, so to speak. Yeah? Okay, we want you to have that passport because we are protecting the rest of the organization, right? So my thing is that, is it that this whole COVID thing might suspend some of employees' rights? I want you to look at that from a HR perspective.
It would not.
Okay.
It is just like the company has its policies. You cannot have dye, your hair can be dyed in yellow. That will just, if that's a company policy, that's the company's policy.
Right.
It's up to you to feel that it's infringing on your rights and you don't want to work for that employer. So if the company makes it their policy, that's the company's policy. And that's you. And that's, as I tell every employee, every new employee who comes, the laws,
Go ahead.
Okay, the company present to you the procedures, the laws, the policies. Your option is to accept and abide to it, or don't accept and don't accept the offer. That's your option. If you take it, you abide to the law. If you feel, hey, you're not gonna agree with that, then you don't take an offer, you don't take a job from the company. That's how I always say it.
Right.
Once you accept, you accept.
Right. Dervin.
Yes. But what about, Ms. Samuels, but what about you have public sector workers who have worked in the government pre-COVID times, right? but they still have a level of hesitancy in taking the vaccine for various reasons, because we know we are living in an age where we are bombarded with information, including fake news, and they don't want to take the vaccine. Because I remember there was a case law, I don't remember the actual name, in a Caribbean country in which an employee was dismissed from his place of employment due to him not adhering to a certain policy that was um, emanated from its employer, but he eventually won the case on constitutional grounds. So, wouldn't there be, in the foreseeable future, we will see more um, lawsuits against employers, including public sector entities, as it relates to that on constitutional grounds?
Okay, this is why I said earlier
Or human rights
that,
grounds, whichever
okay, this is why I said earlier that you need to revise your handbook, standard operating procedures, job descriptions. And in revising that, you put whatever you feel employees supposed to take the vaccine, you include it in there. However, you discuss it with the Labor Department and the union. You on your own cannot, the employer on his own cannot just implement a rule. You have to ensure that you're working within your protective zone, basically. So if they revise a policy and it is well supported, I don't see it being too many lawsuits. However, if they do it haphazardly, of course, yes, there will be lawsuits. And a lot of companies, they like doing things haphazardly. So of course, that will surface.
Yeah. You're listening to Canyouth Exploration. I'm Canyouth White. Canyouth Exploration, your topic on a podcast. You can view this on YouTube anytime. It will be posted on YouTube. You can also listen to this and other episode on your favorite podcast platform, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon. All right, we're talking to Juliana Samuel out of St. Lucia. She is a HR practitioner for many years, and we have Dervin sitting in the studio with us. Miss Samuel, this whole thing of preparation, I want to stay on it for a while, because I am sure that many employees in St. Lucia, Jamaica, United States, and around the world, right? Many persons in the United States have been viewing and listening as well, right? Many employees, they're tired right now as it is, naturally so, right?
Yeah.
Right? We're all tired, everybody, right? Yeah. But we're just not sure what to expect going into the organization. I'm an organizational behaviorist, right? And I understand the whole concept of shared vision and strategies and how to communicate it. It's not being communicated. Nothing much is being communicated as it relates to some organizations. We cannot say all organizations, right? So many employees might just don't want to go back to work. They're unsure. What you say about that? What's your view on that?
Yes, I know the situation where employees have decided not to return to work, though they got an offer to return to work. Some managers, they have not changed, or they will not change because they don't know differently. There are persons who, these persons are used to doing their thing for so many years and it had been working. And it's difficult for them now to understand why a little virus is preventing things from being normal. So it's a matter maybe of educating employers. Maybe that's some agency, government, somebody needs to take this on to educate employers, and maybe find a team of qualified persons or capable persons who work with these people to help bring about the change. They can make it if only they're willing to make the changes and understand why it needs to be done. Life cannot be normal. But however, they cannot just wake up tomorrow morning and decide, hey, they're going to do that. They need to put things in place to avoid lawsuits, as we say, in the future, to avoid many things. Or avoid the union breathing down their throat or Labor Department breathing down their throat. They just need to do it right. There's always a right way of doing things.
Yeah. Do you think that some positions will become obsolete after COVID. And what are those positions? You smile. I like that. What are those positions that you may be looking at?
Because my position was made redundant because of COVID.
Okay, you see, so tell me, what are you
So
looking at down the line? What are
you
you
see,
seeing?
employers may feel that
Go
they're
ahead,
going
go
to
ahead.
cut costs. That's one of the ways of cutting costs, of getting lesser qualified persons of doing their jobs. But however, that is there to their disadvantage. Employers need to think it through. You need to get quality. So you can get quality in whatever you're doing. Quality accounting, quality HR. People, there are persons or institutions that's willing to work with you to make it happen. Taking out, removing your most senior persons may not be the solution. You would have to opt of taking new persons. And again, these persons don't think of recruitment costs. You'd have to take new persons, train them, let them go through the ups and downs, the pros and cons before they get to a plateau. So it's more to the employer's disadvantage to make persons of senior positions redundant.
Go
But
ahead.
I guess maybe they see it as a time of employers see it as an opportunity to restart, maybe revise their salary structure to give less. But instead of making a position redundant, speak to the person and see if they would accept a lower salary. Make some arrangement, but just don't just do it with your senior staff because you feel that's an opportunity to cut costs or that's a way of cutting costs. You in your head you think you're cutting costs, but really what you're losing is more than the cost maybe you had cut in the long run.
Yeah. I also believe that we talk about the groundsman in a school, for instance, right? I suspect he's still going into the school at this point, yeah, because the school schools have to be kept clean, right? So a position like that might be okay, but I'm not sure about St. Lucia. You can tell me, but there are many countries around the world right now who are looking at perhaps blended education. We keep looking at education and homeschooling, in the podcast for a while. But let me touch this. The teachers may be in trouble here because because parents are now looking at other means of educating the children, right? More so the homeschooling. If countries decided that, okay, we'll have this as an option for our parents to do, I suspect that many parents would like to move towards that. Talk to me about that sort of a situation in St. Lucia, and what do you see happening to teachers later on?
Maybe in the long run, but I do not see it in the short run. St. Lucia is not as advanced as some countries when it comes to technologies. There are some children who don't even have internet and Wi-Fi to do their work at home. They don't have devices. So we still need the in-class sessions. I don't see that sector being affected anywhere in the near future. Because yes, some parents, some children, they don't. And when you look at the results of what has been happening, the children are not committed to the online education. Maybe the parents leave and they go to work. There's online class and you get out of a class of 25 to 30, you might get 5 or 10 students. Sometimes the students don't show up at all. So I don't think that's something a route the government would go down right now, because our education system is suffering because of COVID-19 and virtual learning. Yeah. So that for sure that sector is okay.
So which sector do you think will get the all it in all of this after COVID?
I think it's tourism.
Oh, okay.
Tourism, because things it will take a while before things go back to where it was. Whoever is at work, it's expected that they will maximize efficiency. So You might be expected to do more than one thing. Your hours of work will be dependent on occupancy. So you work less hours, and tourism will take the hardest hit.
Okay.
It is already.
What about least affected?
Least affected, I think, is the teachers.
Oh, the teachers. Okay.
And not government workers. The government might eventually restructure their offices, but teachers, they need the teachers. The teachers need to be there for the students.
Oh, yeah.
Right now.
That sounds great. So, what would be your advice to organizational leaders, to those leaders? What would you say to them as they move out of COVID? As we move out of COVID, hopefully soon, right?
Hopefully soon. Hopefully soon.
Hopefully soon.
I like that. Okay. Leaders need to be okay. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the Maslow motivation theory.
Right.
You know, it's a pyramid, and employees, after they get one level satisfied, one level of motivation, they go to the next. Something employees are doing now is giving short-term contracts. Short-term contracts, that affects job security. If you have a good employee, why give a good employee a short-term contract? Yes, you may not know what's happening down the line, but I, as a good employee, you give me a short-term contract and another company offer me full-time employment, what's going to happen? I'm going to move on. Employers need to make more time to understand the employee needs and see how they can accommodate them. And sometimes it's just a listening ear they need. Sometimes you might just have to alter the shift a bit. Organizations need to seriously look into getting counselors. I think that is very important right now going forward. And as much as possible, they have to find ways to keep their staff motivated. So they have to find means of tokens of appreciation, events. They have to find means to keep the employee sane because a lot is happening. So you need to, it's a time where employers really need to be there for employees.
Yeah. And I'd want to think as well that these leaders, right? It's gonna they're hurting too. They're having challenges.
They are.
Right?
Everybody is. You just need to be strong. Find a way.
And you would understand the whole concept of strategy development and all of that. And they were this COVID thing. It's them suddenly.
Yes.
And I think that they're pushed into a corner and trying to get out of that corner and satisfying the employees as well. That is going to be hard for them.
Yeah, it's going to be hard. It's going to be difficult. They have to find the big events you are having for employees will not be possible, but you have to find little ways. The little things count. Again,
you're listening to Canyouth Exploration. I'm Canyouth White. Canyouth Exploration, your topic in the podcast. We're having some challenges with our guest, Juliana Samuel, out of St. Lucia. She is a HR practitioner, and we're looking at the organization as it were and as it is now and what we forecast it to be. Continue, Ms. Samuels. We're back.
Yeah, I said it's to find the little things that keep your team going. And so a lot will depend also on the departmental or sectional leaders. You cannot wait on your top management alone. You, in any area that you're a leader, supervisor, you have to find the things that keep your team motivated and going. Maybe into the morning briefing, you have a WhatsApp group where you post updates, you keep employees informed, where you recognize people's birthday, a job well done, find the things that work for you. If it's a small organization, you put up a board and You put a star. Remember at school they used to give us stars when we did well? You give your employees a star, and maybe at the end of the year you give them the stars. The person with the most star, you give them something. But you have to think outside of the box and find a way of keeping your staff motivated. You have to show them that you're thankful that they're there. A lot of employees go above and beyond. They would work overtime and they would not ask for it because they understand what's happening. We too, as employers, need to show our appreciation. And there are many little things we can do to show appreciation. It does not have to be the big thing. The little things count, as the saying goes.
Yeah. What are employees looking for? What are they really looking for?
Employees are looking mainly for stability. And that is very important to them. And this is why I tell you, don't give your employee short-term contract, your good employee short-term contract. They need stability. They need to they want you to know that you're hiring them. They need to feel they're part of a team. In some way, they still expect to be the family kind of atmosphere which existed before. And employers have to find a way of nurturing this. You have to find it. You have to make it happen.
Yeah. Are potential employees scared though? Do you think they're scared? I'm not working, but I'm just scared to get involved right now. I'm seeing a different thing out there.
Yes, a lot of there fears for many reasons. There are fears of getting COVID. There are fears of losing their job. There are fears of they not being able to adhere or perform the job the way it is supposed to be done now. There's a lot of fear, a lot of anxiety, and it is really serious. On the outside, I mean, you look at it from the outside, you might think it's not serious, but when you listen to persons, I have a friend. I mean, she's in a senior position, and one day she called me. She told me she have helped so many people before, and now nobody's calling to check on her. These little things, a call. We need to be there for each other more as employers, as employees. If you are an employee, your team check on your team members. You do not know what they're going through. Or maybe you can help them. Maybe you have free tomatoes home and you know that person is really struggling. You bring a tomato. Now is a time of togetherness and sharing. We need to come together to make it happen now. Because if we don't come together, if we try to segregate and fight, it's going to break down. We need to come together to make it through this season. This is a very tough season, one we have never seen, and I hope we never see again.
Oh, yeah. You said something about companies staying alive, but initially you said that earlier. But are we seeing companies dying now, and will a lot of companies die? Well, we're seeing companies shutting down now, but even the major companies, the larger companies, are they going to be dying and employees getting poorer?
I see companies dying. I don't know about employees getting poorer. Employers need to find ways. We too as employees need to be creative and find other means of surviving. It could be we knew was to be a room attendant at a hotel for all our lives. Maybe what we need now is to try to get room attending or housekeeping or something for free persons and make some income. We need to think life not the same. We need to be innovative ourselves and try to find ways to create income for ourselves. Organizations dying, yes. There are big and small organizations dying.
Oh yeah.
They were not doing well, and this has pushed them in a deeper hole. So yes, they are dying. There are a lot of deaths. But it is what it is we as employees need to try to find ways and means of staying alive.
Yeah. To continue with that though, are there any other advice for employees, be it potential or current? Are there any other advice for them?
I think employees need to get, those who are not, they need to get comfortable with technology, because going forward, everything will be technology. Employees need to be, if you have a job, be thankful. It will not be what it was. It may not be what you expect, but be thankful that you have a job. We also have to develop the habit of budgeting. We know we used to get $1,000, but we're getting $500 now. We need to know what we're doing with our $500. Set priorities, pay our bills, make sure our children go to school, do the things that is important. Yes, we may love parties, but then the money we'll spend at a party, maybe we can do something better with it. I'm not telling you if you can party, not to party. But then basically what I'm saying, be diplomatic in what you do.
Yeah.
Be mindful that COVID is any and everywhere. You have to protect yourself and your family at all times. You need to do what is right. And at all times, and I always tell employees that, and it will not only be for you, always on a stage, there's always somebody watching you. When whatever you do it to the best of your abilities. Never give less than 100%. So you need to do that now more than ever, because the company to make a decision, they look at the top employees. Somebody might come and see you are able to perform it at their business somewhere. You never know. You're always on a stage, and be mindful of that.
When I actually, after finishing university, when I finished my bachelor's, I decided to put a folder together with certificates and other things that are relevant to my going into an interview, and so on, job interview. I'm not sure if that is being done much now by the younger persons and so on, but what would you tell the prospective, the employees, right, the younger ones, how to prepare to come in front of somebody like you, the HR manager, the person interviewing, so to speak, right? How should they prepare for all of that at this point after COVID? What should they put together?
One, the first thing, you need to get a good resume or CV. Have somebody, let somebody help you. A good CV, a good cover letter. Get your certificates. If you have certificates, get it notarized, get it certified. Professional look. For some reason, I find that was maybe in my generation. Persons are not very mindful of the professional look. They say first look is creates a lasting impression. So in going to an interview, your look is very important. It could be that one shirt you have, but you iron it well, you well tuck it in, your belt, your hair, not the hairstyles. Not all the hairstyles are professional.
Right.
I remember one day a young lady came to an interview in hospitality. She came with green hair with a very tight and short skirt. That in itself is a no from a distance. You need to look professional. You need to dress professional. The colored hair is not for professional job. If you're working somewhere back of house, somewhere you don't interact with customers, yes. But then some of these hair looks, they are crazy. They're not professional. The studs and the earrings, and now I see the shading of the eyebrows. Yes, when you're going out for Christmas, these things you do it, but you need to maintain a professional look at all times. Some persons look very closely at that. In fact, I was interviewing for a company, and she told me anybody who comes with their arms not covered, she not hiring them. So that shows the level of how much it looks for the outer look, so that is very important. Your appearance is very important.
Let me say something first before you go further. It's a culture. Well, I know here in the United States, not so much in the Caribbean. It's okay to wear jeans and a t-shirt to an interview. It's okay to wear jeans and just a loose shirt, nothing like a tie like how I'm dressed now. We know that in the Caribbean. But tell me, is it that is something that HR are now, HRs are now being relaxed with? They're okay with it around the world?
Some persons would, yes. And it also depends on the jeans. If you have a nice black jeans, nobody knows. Okay. So it depends on the jeans. It depends on what you have.
So should I ask you then, okay, what should I wear? That might be something that turns you off as an HR practitioner. But I think then maybe it's okay to find out what is ideal to wear. Is should all right, put it this way. Should HR now be sending out a package saying, okay, this is how you must look coming to interview? Okay.
No, that's it. I would find that would be rude. However, it could be a t-shirt you have, but it's the way you present it. It's the way you carry the t-shirt. Yeah. There's one time I interviewed a young man. He came with a shirt, but you could have seen that he was from a poor family.
Oh yeah.
He came with a shirt and the shirt was all rumful. He tried.
Yeah.
But that was his best. And there are situations like that where you would understand. But you don't come with a short, skimpy skirt and expect me to understand that.
Yeah.
I prefer you come with a black jeans and a t-shirt.
Yeah.
That looks more professional. So again, HR would not dictate what you wear. But again, you have to be mindful that you're going for an interview and you have to look professional. You cannot come up with a cut-up jeans. Yes, we may accept jeans, but you cannot come with a cut-up jeans.
Yeah. I wrote your thought process before. Is it okay? You know where you were and that? I said that I disrupted your thought process before. You were saying something.
I forgot it.
That's all right. But sorry about that. Tell me though, this whole thing, because I'm trying to ask some of the questions that would be asked. This thing about I going into your office for an interview, I just sit down because there's a chair.
Some persons would take offense to that, but for me, it's no big deal.
Okay.
Again, it's different personalities, and it's the way you present yourself. You just sit nicely, fine. But if you sit like a bad boy, I might ask myself questions. Okay. It's the way you do things. It's not what we do, but how we do it.
Yeah. A trick question. How do I know that I get the job? Can I feel that?
I can. Personally, I can. I have a way of knowing, of sensing. Like for some reason, I would interview you and I would sense if you're the best employee. And if I feel you're not the best and I take you, somehow you don't stay. When I go to an interview, I just get that feeling of maybe yes. So it is maybe maybe it's an ability. Let me say it's an ability.
Yeah. It's interesting though. But Dervin, do you have any other questions?
Sir.
Do you have any other questions for Miss
no,
Samuel?
I am just absorbing. No, not right now. I'm just absorbing the information from both of you.
All right, fine. All right, because we're about to wrap up this section of the interview with Miss Samuel as we go into the segment where we will expose a business, and in this case, her business, right? But Ms. Samuel, as we wrap up this segment on Canyouth exploration, your topic in the podcast, I'm Canyouth White. Ms. Samuel, what is your cap on this? What do you want to leave with the audience and this whole thing about HR practices in the future and organizational practices in the future of the pandemic?
What I need to leave is that organizations, leaders, and especially HR need to think outside of the box now. It is not life as normal. We have to be creative, find new ways of doing things. If you stay within the box, you're going to sink the company. You're going to sink the staff, you're going to sink the company. You need to think outside of the box, be creative, find new ways of doing things, keeping our staff motivated, trying to get things engine going again, but this time using different methods. You need to be open. You need to ask for help if you need the help. You need to ask for suggestion. Open to persons asking me for advice as to what they should do, what I think is going to work best. I'm in consultancy. I'm open to that. But then, yes, it cannot be life as normal. Life as normal will take us nowhere.
Okay. Dervin.
Yes.
Thanks for coming. I'm going to let you out of the studio now as we go into the next segment. You were great. Very interesting
Okay.
questions that you have asked, right? And I appreciate your attendance into the studio. Thank you for coming.
Okay. All right.
Can I
Thank you
just
very
put the
much.
lights on?
Thank you.
1 minute.
Okay.
Can I just put the lights on? It's a
Oh,
bit
yeah,
dark.
you may.
Okay.
You're listening to Canyouth Exploration. This is your topic in a podcast. I'm Canyouth White. We are sitting in with Juliana Samuel out of St. Lucia. And this is now the segment where we look at On Biz Exposed today. And we'll be looking at Samuel Consultancy Services. Juliana, it's your company, Samuel Consultancy Services. I just want to know the what, the who, the where, the why, the when, the how, how it benefits, and what else you'd like to say. Let's start with the what. What is Samuel Consultancy Services?
Samuel Consultancy Services is basically my dream, my vision is to offer HR services to businesses that are unable to hire a qualified person on a full-time basis. So I will operate with you based on your needs and your budget. I see many small entities, they try to do it, but they are not always successful. And I say, why not help them survive? So this is the way um, I'm doing it. I offer all, it's basically a HR management consultancy service. I offer like 17 services altogether, from hiring to dealing with the union, disciplinaries, preparing your documents like job descriptions, handbooks, or updating it. I offer operation guidelines to entities who feel they need a little guidance. For organizations that need work permits for foreigners who will be coming in, I can help you with that. On an individualized basis, I offer COVID training and certification. I can also do it for
Yeah.
large organizations. I prepare resumes and job letters. There are a lot of small businesses around who wish to get registered. The young people, they have their ideas, but they're not sure what to do. So I provide guidance and I provide registration. I help them register their company. I will soon, one of my services I'll soon be offering is preparing business plans. I also offer training. So if you have your small groups or an area you need to improve upon, is customized training. So
Okay.
I don't have a list of training programs. You tell me what you want to be done, and then I work with you on that.
Okay.
I provide payroll services. Yes,
Tell me
I do everything.
who. Tell me about the management structure. Who is doing this?
Well, it is me because I believe a lot in providing satisfaction. I
Right.
want the same way I want my customers to always be satisfied. Right now, I'm starting off, and the persons who have made the decision to allow me to serve them, I need to
Right.
ensure that they are satisfied. So right now I'm starting with myself alone.
Okay.
Right now I have two small companies. But as I grow, I have my team in mind because I've worked with HR individuals. So I have my teams in mind that I'm going to pull in. But right now I'm just doing groundwork. In fact, my website, www.samuelconsultancy.com,
Okay.
it is available. I've not really launched it because I'm just trying to tweak, make sure I want it to be perfect. I like perfection for
Right.
some
Yeah.
reason. I like perfection.
Right.
So, but persons can go in there and see what I offer. Um, Again, not because I am a experienced professional that I'm going to break your arm and neck and leg if you wish to acquire my services.
Right.
We sit, we talk, we see what you can afford and what has to be done, and we decide on a way forward. In the process of trying to get customers. And so this week I'll be meeting a few companies, but this is where I am. I'm in the marketing stage. I'm hoping by later this year I can really, the engine can start going. right now I'm just trying to start it,
Oh, cool.
basically. Yeah.
Where is this? Where's this company? I mean, people listening from the United States here, in Canada, Ukraine, Spain, France, Germany. Where is this company? How do persons outside of St. Lucia, I suspect it is, get
Yeah.
your services?
Okay. As I mentioned earlier, I am in the most beautiful island in the Caribbean, so that's where my company is.
We are still friends.
That's where my company is from.
Okay.
But a lot of my services can be offered online because we're in a virtual stage, we're in a virtual time. A lot of my services can be offered online. So recruitment, developing your job description, your salary scales, your appraisal, a lot of it can be done online. I can be reached via my telephone, via my website, via my email. I'm not sure I'll be able to share that. My LinkedIn profile, my Facebook page. Anybody can reach me in using any of this medium.
Is your telephone number 758-285-8944?
Yes, it is. And the email address is
Yeah, just say
J.
that out for me.
Okay, JUSAMUEL, the numeral 9 at gmail.com.
So it's JUSAMUEL numeral 9 and at gmail.com.
Gmail.com. Yes.
When are you open? Tell us about the times and so on. Well, it's online, but
Yeah.
when it's available. Can somebody Sunday evening, send you an email, say, hey, want something to be done? Talk to us about timings.
Definitely. You send me an email, and as soon as I get the opportunity, which will be less than 12 hours, I will respond to you. You give me a call, I will definitely take your call. As I said, I'm in the setup stage, so I am open to contacts anytime. Well, nighttime is for sleeping, but anytime during the day, I'm available weekends and holidays. Anybody who wish to contact me, they're free to call and contact me any of these times.
Yeah, you're listening to Canyouth Exploration, your topic in a podcast. I'm Canyouth White. You're in the segment on Biz Exposed today. We're looking at Samuel Consultancy Services. If you're watching on YouTube, you will see the email of the Samuel Consultancy Services across the screen. If you're listening on your favorite podcast platform, it's JUSAMUEL 9 at gmail.com, right? So you can contact her. Miss Samuel, why this company? Let's look at the why. Why?
Because I feel there is a need for this kind of service, human resources, for companies who cannot hire a full-time person and they need professional service. Also, now, especially with COVID, everything is virtual. I find that this is an opportunity to offer basically this virtual service. Although in St. Lucia, I plan to visit the local companies, because it's important that the employees know you. So if somebody hire me full-time to do not full-time, but hire me to do the day-to-day HR operation, I will visit the company. I will visit the company so that the employees know me. But it also is an opportunity to grow business and create employment for myself and other persons, and yet still provide professional human resource service at reasonable cost.
Right. That sounds good. That sounds good. So we how it benefits people though. How this benefits individuals and organizations. Let's go into that for more clarity.
You can rest assured that you have somebody who's able to handle this aspect of your business. So in on all areas of the business, if you have legal issues, if you have union issues, disciplining your staff, hiring, training, you have a professional who is offering to do that for you, who is available to do that for you. So you do not have to worry. You do not have to. It's a package, an all-in-one kind of package to make it convenient to you, and also tailored to your ability, your financial ability.
Cool. So you're helping to revive organizations after COVID. Your
Yes,
business
definitely.
is critical,
It
in
is.
this
Yeah,
side of
it
what's
is.
going on. I love it. I love
It
it.
is.
I love it. What else would you like to say though about Samuel Consultancy Services? Go ahead.
Um, it's an opportunity for businesses. Could be small, large, medium, large. It's an opportunity to put things in place. As I said earlier during the interview, life is not going to be the same. You need to start, but however, you need to have things in place to protect yourself and your company. I'm giving you that opportunity to put this in place. After you get rolling, if you wish to expand, that's up to you. But here's an opportunity to put things in place at a reasonable cost. So going forward, you have all your structures in place, your standard operating procedures, your job description, your handbook is updated, everything is in place, your salary scale, your appraisal, you have a structure. I'm helping you, I'm there to help you set a structure so that you can expand and grow on and be successful in your reopening, relaunching, or the continuation of your business.
So you're saying that Samuel Consultancy Services is the best place to go when I need my HR services.
Oh, yes, definitely. There's
Yeah.
none other.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you.
There's
I'm
none
endorsing
other.
that. I'm endorsing
There's
that.
none other.
I'm endorsing that. Right. But when I heard about your company, I was thinking that you're not in the United States, you're in St. Lucia. But you have said to me that, hey, we can still reach out to you
Yes.
because, yeah, you can still work across, globalization, provides,
Yes.
right, across borders. But if I want, take for instance, if I want to get training done, I'm just asking that, but I know what you might say to me now. If I want to get training done and I reach out to you, what next? What will you do? I'm in the United States.
I'll have to find out what your training needs, what you want to do. I'll make recommendation as to what is available, what can be done. You agree, I give you a costing, and we have a deadline, and you pay a deposit, and I start, and upon completion, you pay the rest.
Cool. I'm in the United States. So you do work that now.
Don't
I'm
you
not in
worry.
the country.
There's virtual training,
I
virtual
know you're
training.
gonna say that. I'm just pulling you on that.
There's virtual training.
All right, I'm just pulling you on that while trying to find something because I want people to understand your business more. While
Okay.
trying to find something that you might not be able to do online.
Also,
Hiring process.
I am open to, if you have a company where you feel it's a big, you require a lot. I'm open to traveling to where you are.
Okay.
To
get the job done.
Yeah.
Right.
To get
That
a job
sounds good.
or to understand better what you need to be done.
Yeah. That sounds good. Hiring processes. How would you perform that? I am somewhere else. I mean, while you'd want to travel to do that as well, but I am, say, in Jamaica, right? How would you deal with that from where you sit?
Well, I have been hiring for one particular company, and my interviews were virtual. However, I'm working on other means of improving my interview or recruitment process, which I will not discuss until I have it approved.
That's all right. Yeah, that's all right. Cool. You're going places, right? I love it. I love it. I love it. And the fact that you can serve companies and individuals outside of St. Lucia and the Caribbean, that's a great thing, right? Tell me though, your company, the website is not up yet. You're saying, right?
You have access to it. It's just that I'm still speaking. Yeah, it's up. It's up. You have access to it.
Okay. Can you remind me of the website address?
www.samuelconsultancy.com.
Okay. Go ahead. Tell me something else about your company.
Something else about there are, especially now, there's that need for applications, resumes, cover letters. People are looking for jobs. and I offer this service to individuals. Also, there are a lot of persons who have gone into business, so I can help you register, set up your business. I can help you with your business proposals. So I offer companies and I also offer individualized service. There's this young lady, I helped her start up a business. I provided templates for her to keep her accounts, and I provide advice and guidance as I go along. One thing I do also, I get company, in order for you to, the guest houses in St. Lucia, in order for you to be able to receive guests, you have to be COVID certified. So I help companies do that also. Some companies need guidance.
Oh yeah.
Persons need to get certified as training, need to get COVID training and certification. I offer that. I get them certified. So I do a number of little things, not only for companies, but for individuals, because there's that need, persons need to create a living for themselves or find employment. So I create that as much as possible.
Is it www.sam, SAMUEL, CONSULTANCY.com?
Yeah.
Good. I just want to get it right and to spell it out for those persons who are listening on their favorite podcast platform. I'm Canyouth White. You're listening to Canyouth Exploration. We're looking at Biz Expose, and Biz Expose today is Samuel Consultancy Services out of St. Lucia, talking to the CEO, Miss Juliana Samuel. Okay.
So, on the website, I have my services detail. I also have references and recommendations for persons I have worked for. I'm hoping to get a few to put it in there. So you are assured, so it could help you know or be guaranteed that you dealing with somebody or you're interested in somebody who is able to meet your expectation or who has always exceeded or meet expectation, as I always aim to provide the best at all times.
Yeah, that's great. So I love it. I love it, Samuels. I think you're doing extremely well. I love what I'm hearing, and I'm sure that you're going to do well across the United States. And this platform exposes your company because of our listenership, right? So there are persons who will be looking at this years to come, because it will be on YouTube and the podcast platform. So I want to ensure that persons understand what your company is all about. And before I end, I want to know what I have left out of this company thing, something that you'd like to share. It's very critical. Go ahead, share it.
It is new to the market. I know that. However, my work has spoken for itself, speaks for itself. I look forward to serving you and your company, whoever is listening. I'm available for a free consultation where we meet, we talk, you let me know your needs, and we take it from there. I'm open not only to St. Lucia, but to the Caribbean and the world at large. You feel there's a service of mine that you need, please feel free to contact me, telephone, email, via the website. I will definitely respond before 12 hours, depend on what is happening as I'm running around to do business. But I guarantee you, I will get back to you. And I look forward to building partnerships in St. Lucia and the region, the world at large.
And I want you to state your website, your phone number, and your email address again.
Telephone number 758-285-8944. Email address JUSAMUEL9, the numeral 9, @gmail.com. Website www.samuelconsultancy.com. SAMUELCONSULTANCY.com.
Right, and you heard it, ladies and gentlemen. You heard it out there. So that's Juliana Samuel from the Samuel Consultancy Services website, www.samuelconsultancy.com. You heard the telephone number, and you also, let me give you the telephone number again, 758-285-8944. It's a St. Lucia number. But WhatsApp, do you?
Yes, I'm on that same number on WhatsApp.
That same number, right. So that same number, 758-285-8944. Also the WhatsApp number. And the email address is, can you say that, please?
JUSAMUEL9@gmail.com.
Great. So there you go. You got it. So give her a call. Give Samuel Consultancy Services a call. Send an email, right? And have them serve you, right? You won't regret it. I know that. Miss Samuel, it's so nice to have you and Canyouth Exploration, right? Your topic in the podcast. You have done well, and I wish you all the best with your company, right? And we will talk again.
Thank you, Mr. White. Thank you for the opportunity, and thank you for reaching out to me. This is my first big step in marketing. Thank you, and really appreciate it. Thanks.
Thank you. You take care now. Bye-bye.
Definitely. Bye.
So that was Juliana Samuel, and you're still listening to Canyouth Exploration, your topic in a podcast. We looked at organizations, where they were, where they're at now during the pandemic, and where they will be. We look at HR practices with Julian, and she talked about where HR practices were, where they are now, and where they will be. We look at Julian Consultancy Services, and you have the information. Scrolling across the screen, if you are on YouTube, you see JUSAMUEL9@gmail.com for email address, and our telephone number, the company's telephone number, is 758-285-8944. She's in St. Lucia, but they're able to serve you across border because of the globalization challenges. Give her a call, send an email, and go on the website, www.samuelconsultancy.com. So we have looked at all of that, and Canyouth Exploration, your topic in a podcast, will continue next week, where we'll be talking to two artists from Jamaica, right? And we'll be having, my co-host will be from Chicago, LT, Lamont Tucker, a good friend of mine, will be sitting in with me on Canyouth Exploration, your topic in the podcast, as we talk to these two Jamaican artists, finding out what they have in store and where they're coming from, and something about them growing in the inner city and the rural area. One is from Kingston, and one is from somewhere in the rural Jamaica. Remember, we endorse Bluehost for this episode. If you want a good website designed and hosted, then you click, if you are watching from YouTube, you click the link below and you will be able to go right to Bluehost. Right? Watch on YouTube, listen on your favorite podcast platform. Canyouth Exploration goes live every Sunday at 5 p.m. ET on YouTube live from its virtual studio out of Miramar, Florida. Comment, rate, and subscribe. Follow us on Instagram at Canyouth Exploration and on Facebook, Canyouth Exploration. It was nice being with you. I really enjoyed it. Come back again. Remember, subscribe and stay tuned for our next episode on Canyouth Exploration. Remember to wear your mask. Remember social distance. Take your vaccine. I took mine last Monday. my first dose of the Pfizer vaccine. The second dose will be next month. I didn't have any major side effect. Slight pain in the arm, and I have a slight headache, and that's it. And it's a week come tomorrow. Take your vaccine, guys, and be informed. Know what is happening. Understand the measures to be safe so that your family can be safe and those other persons around you. Take care and goodbye.